learned the sound of your footsteps. Beyond the ticket gates, a hand waving goodbye. There was enough to fill my whole world. White breath at 5 in the evening. My heart knows more than any clock. It's almost time, it tells me the hour when you're coming home. Everyone's rushing past, faces without names fading away. But I held on to just one thing, a promise I was born to keep. I'm waiting here again today, under the Shibuya sky, until I hear your voice once more. I'll sit here for 1,000 years, even if the world keeps changing, even if time keeps moving on. This place is still your way back home. That day the doors never opened, only the twilight kept stretching on. But somehow I never believed you were truly gone. Rainy days and snowy nights, strangers stopped to pat my head. Are you still waiting? They would ask. I answered softly with my tail. Time leaves me standing still, racing forward without me. But love, I know, doesn't fade just because it stays. I'm waiting here again today, in the middle of Shibuya town. I believe in that single moment, where a shadow will appear, even if you never call my name, even if you never turn around. I stay right here, living for you. They call me stone now, they call me just a statue, but this isn't merely the end of the line. It's where a promise still breathes. Children laughing, voices bright, tourists stopping for photographs. Yet every time the evening falls, my heart begins to tremble again. I'm waiting, even now, right here in front of Hachiko's statue, even in a world without you. I'll keep waiting all the same. If we never meet again, it's alright. Love is still going on until the day I
I want you to close your eyes for just a second. Picture the busiest intersection in the entire world.
Neon lights everywhere.
Right. Neon lights, those giant screens, and just thousands of people scrambling in every possible direction. It's chaotic. It's loud. It's Shibuya Crossing in Tokyo.
And right next to all of that chaos, there is a spot where everyone meets up.
Yeah, you've probably seen the photos of it. It's this bronze statue of a dog.
Hachiko. I mean, it is arguably the most famous meeting point in Japan,
Yeah.
maybe even the world.
Exactly. And usually when we sit down to talk about Hachiko, we talk about the history, the facts. Professor Ueno, the 1920s, the 9 years of waiting.
Right, the timeline of it all?
Yeah. It's a great story, but it is history. Today we're doing something a little different for this deep dive. We are not looking at the history books.
No, we're looking at a specific lyrical text, a narrative source that actually tries to do something almost impossible. It tries to get inside the head of the statue.
Which is, that's a risky move, right?
Oh, absolutely. Anthropomorphizing an animal, giving a complex inner voice to a dog, it can so easily turn into a cartoon.
Right, like a children's movie.
Exactly. But what really stands out about this particular source material is that it doesn't feel like a cartoon at all. It feels like a meditation.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
It takes this story that we all think we know, the loyal dog waiting for his master, and it strips away the whole legend aspect to focus purely on the raw sensory experience of waiting.
And that is exactly what hooked me. I went into this expecting, a very basic, I'm a good boy, I miss my master kind of poem. But the text starts somewhere much more visceral.
It really grounds you right away.
It does. It opens with the line, the scent of a cold morning, and then a stone platform.
Which is so striking. It immediately places you in the physical discomfort of the situation. It's not a warm, fuzzy Disney setup.
No, it's freezing.
Right. That sensory grounding is crucial here. The text is establishing that before Hachiko was this grand legend or a bronze statue, he was a biological creature. He felt the cold. He had a specific routine.
And the text highlights a very specific ability he developed. The narrator says, I've learned the sound of your footsteps.
Let's pause on that for a second. I've learned the sound.
Yeah, think about where he actually is. Shibuya Station.
Even back in the 1920s, it wasn't exactly a quiet library.
Not at all. It's a major train station. There are steam engines, whistles blowing, hundreds of people in these hard-soled shoes just clacking on the pavement.
So how does a dog pick out one single pair of feet?
Right. It's incredible.
It's essentially the cocktail party effect, but massively amplified. You know how you can be in a loud, crowded room and still hear someone say your name across the hall?
Oh, yeah. Your brain just filters it out.
Exactly. And this text suggests Hachiko had attuned his entire existence to one specific frequency, the exact cadence of the professor's walk.
So to the dog, all those other people, the trains, the whistles?
It's just static. It's white noise. The text implies that the only signal that actually matters is that one specific rhythm of footsteps.
It's almost like a superpower.
Yeah.
But a superpower born out of total obsession or love.
I guess those are pretty close cousins in this context.
Yeah, true. And then there is the visual trigger he waits for. The text says, beyond the ticket gates, a hand waving goodbye, that was enough to fill my whole world.
Enough to fill my whole world. That is a really heavy line.
See, at first it sounds sweet, but when I really thought about it, it felt, I don't know, almost terrifying.
Terrifying how?
Just imagine your entire universe, your complete reason for existing, boiling down to one single hand waving at a ticket gate.
I see what you mean. It is terrifying from a modern human perspective. We are multitaskers. We have our careers, our hobbies, our phones.
15 different tabs open in our brains at all times.
Exactly. Our worlds are filled with clutter. But the text is presenting this completely alternative way of being. It's not that the dog's world is small. It's that his focus is absolute. He isn't distracted. That hand-waving goodbye isn't just a casual gesture. It's the sun that his entire planet orbits around.
Wow. Okay, so if that's the sun, let's talk about the orbit, the actual routine of his days.
The physical waiting.
Right. The text mentions white breath at 5 in the evening. It paints this incredibly vivid picture of him just sitting there exhaling into the freezing air. But then he says something that I think is the absolute core of this first section. He says, my heart knows more than any clock.
That is such a fascinating distinction. The text is setting up a battle between two completely different types of time.
Mechanical versus biological.
Exactly. You have the clock time, the mechanical time of the railway, the rigid train schedules, the ticking hands on the station wall. That represents the human world. But the dog, The dog operates entirely on heart time.
What does that actually mean, though? Heart time. Is he just guessing when 5:00 p.m. rolls around?
I don't think he's guessing at all. I mean, animals do have circadian rhythm, sure, but the text suggests something much deeper than that. He isn't waiting because the clock strikes 5.
He's waiting because his internal state is literally pulling him to that spot.
Yes, my heart knows.
Yeah.
It implies this profound physiological connection to the master. He doesn't need to look up at the station clock to know the train is due. He feels the pull in his chest.
It's like he's, I don't know, synced up via Bluetooth to the professor's internal schedule.
That's a great way to put it.
But this brings us to the actual environment he is waiting in. The text describes the people around him in a really interesting way. It says, everyone's rushing past faces without names, fading away.
And this creates the central conflict of the entire narrative. The rushing world versus the frozen dog.
Faces without names. It makes the city sound almost like a ghost town, even though we know it's incredibly crowded.
Well, in a way, to him, it is a ghost town. The text is emphasizing that for the dog, humanity is just a blur. Think about long exposure photography.
Oh, like when you take a picture of a busy street at night.
Right. With a slow shutter speed, all the moving people become these ghostly streaks of light. But if someone is standing perfectly still in the middle of it all, they remain sharp and in focus.
And in this narrative, Hachiko is the only sharp thing in the picture.
Exactly. Everyone else is just fading away.
Because they don't matter to him. They aren't the master. He says later, but I held on to just one thing, a promise I was born to keep. So he has an identity. The people rushing past, they're just motion. He is stillness.
And that stillness creates a powerful sense of place. There's this beautiful, heartbreaking line where the text actually redefines the entire concept of home.
Oh, I know the one you mean.
He says, even if the world keeps changing, this place is still your way back home.
Yeah, that really hit me because we usually think of home as the destination,
That's
right?
his physical house.
Right. You get off the train, you walk to your house, you open the door, but he's saying, no, I'm the landmark.
Exactly. He truly believes that his physical presence at the station is what keeps the path home open. He is the lighthouse.
And if the lighthouse goes dark, the ship can't find the harbor.
Beautifully said. So home isn't a building with a roof. Home is the reunion. And for that reunion to happen, he absolutely has to be at that specific coordinate.
Which makes what happens next even harder to read, the turning point of the whole poem.
Right.
The text says simply, that day, the doors never opened.
The massive glitch in the routine. The broken cycle.
And the description of the aftermath, it's not violent, it's just terribly long. The text says only the twilight kept stretching on.
That is such a profound way to describe loss. It's not a sudden crash, it's a suspension.
It's hanging there.
Usually the sun sets, the master comes out of the station, they go home together, and the day ends. But if the master never comes, does that day ever really end?
The text suggests that for Hachiko, that specific twilight just stretched out for 9 entire years. He was permanently stuck in the 5:00 p.m. of that specific Tuesday or whatever day it was. But here is where I want to push back just a little bit. The text says, I never believed you were truly gone. Now, be honest. Is that actually faith? Or is that just denial? Is the dog just flat out refusing to look at the facts?
That is definitely the cynical human take, isn't it?
I mean, it's logical.
We look at the facts.
Yeah.
The master is dead, he is not coming back. And we say to ourselves, okay, time to move on. But the text is framing this completely differently.
How so?
It's not that he is blind to reality. He clearly sees the doors not opening. But he actively chooses to prioritize the promise over the evidence.
Interesting.
It is refusal to let the physical absence of the person dictate the absence of the love.
So you're saying he's consciously overruling reality?
In a way, yes. He is maintaining the reality he prefers. The one where the master is simply running late.
Wow.
And what's really touching is that even in this state of denial or faith, whatever you want to call it, he isn't entirely cut off from the world.
Right. The text mentions his interactions with strangers. Rainy days and snowy nights, strangers stop to pat my head.
And they ask him that one question. Are you still waiting?
Which is literally the question the world has been asking this dog for a century now. Are you really still doing this?
And his response to them. This is the part that proves he is not just a cold symbol yet.
He says, I answered softly, with my tail.
I love that detail so much. It's such a small thing, but so incredibly important. He doesn't bark at them. He doesn't growl. He wags his tail.
It shows that he hasn't become bitter.
Exactly. The cold of the winters hasn't frozen his heart yet. He is still a social creature. He's still a good boy.
He really is.
He's acknowledging their kindness, even though they aren't the one person he's actually waiting for.
It is a moment of genuine warmth in a very cold story. But then the warmth goes away. The text takes a massive leap forward here.
Yes, it jumps from the flesh and blood dog straight to the legend.
The line is, they call me stone now, they call me just a statue.
This is the great metamorphosis. We move from biology to geology, from a living life to a permanent symbol.
And usually in the history books, this is where the story abruptly ends. And then he died and they built a statue. The end.
Right.
But the source text treats this as a continuation. The narrator says, but this isn't merely the end of the line, it's where a promise still breathes.
A promise still breathes. That is the key phrase of the whole section.
Unpack that for us.
The argument here is that the physical body, the fur, the bones, the white breath we talked about, that was all just a vessel. The real thing, the actual promise, was always strong enough to survive the death of that body.
So the intent outlives the flesh.
Precisely. He is arguing that he didn't stop waiting just because he stopped breathing.
That is a heavy concept. It's spiritual almost. But then the text immediately juxtaposes this eternal spiritual promise with the most mundane, modern stuff imaginable.
The current state of Shibuya Crossing.
Exactly. It describes the scene around the statue today. Children laughing, voices bright tourists stopping for photographs.
It perfectly captures the reality of Shibuya today. It's a selfie spot, it's bright, it's loud, it's super casual. People lean on the statue, they leave their empty cups on it, they meet their dates there.
It's very superficial on the outside.
It is.
Right. But while all that superficial stuff is happening on the outside, listen to what the text says is happening inside the bronze. Yet every time the evening falls, my heart begins to tremble again.
I think that is the most haunting image in the entire piece.
It really is. The idea that inside that cold, hard metal, there is an actual trembling. And trembling isn't a passive word.
No, not at all.
It's not just beating, it's trembling. That suggests anxiety, excitement, adrenaline.
It suggests that the raw anticipation hasn't dulled one bit over the decades. Even as a statue, the moment the sun goes down, he feels that exact same rush he felt as a puppy.
Is it him? Is he finally coming?
Exactly. The text is saying that the statue is not just a memorial. It is a containment vessel for that trembling emotion. He is trapped in a permanent state of almost.
Trapped in, almost. That is a really good way to put it. And he says, I'm waiting, even now, right here, in front of Hachiko's statue, even in a world without you.
It's almost out of body. Like his spirit is watching his own statue, pulling a double shift.
It emphasizes the absolute permanence. He isn't going anywhere. He has truly become the spirit of the station.
So let's get to the why of it all. Why do we care about this specific interpretation? Why does this lyrical text matter?
I think it boils down to the philosophy of love the narrator lays out near the very end. He says, love, I know, doesn't fade just because it stays.
And this is a radical challenge to how we usually think about love.
How so?
Well, in our culture, love is always framed as a journey. It's dynamic. It's moving forward together, building a life. If you're standing still, the assumption is that you're stagnating, you're stuck.
Right, you need to be progressing.
But this text argues that staying is a completely valid, powerful form of love. Maybe even the ultimate form.
Stasis isn't the same as doing nothing.
Precisely. Think about how much energy it actually takes to hold a heavy weight in one place. You aren't moving, but you are exerting an incredible amount of force.
Just to maintain the position.
Yes. The text frames his waiting, not as passive sitting, but as an active, continuous force of will. He is holding the space. He is living for you, as the text says.
And then there's the line, if we never meet again, it's all right. Love is still going on.
That line feels like the true resolution of the poem.
It does. It feels like he's finally stopped fighting the fact that the master isn't there, and he has accepted that the pure act of waiting is actually enough.
He has found purpose in the vigil itself. He no longer needs a transaction.
It's a transaction.
Yeah, he doesn't need the master to physically walk through the gate to validate the 9 years or the 100 years of waiting. The love exists completely independently of the recipient now.
Which naturally leads to the final address. The text shifts its focus one last time. He speaks directly to my teacher, Yulino.
Yes.
He asks if he can see him from somewhere beyond the sky.
He is openly acknowledging the distance now. He knows the master is gone from this physical world.
But notice what he doesn't do. He doesn't ask the master to come back. He doesn't say, I miss you, please come get me.
No, he doesn't.
He says, I want you to know, Today again, I'm waiting here in Shibuya.
It's essentially a status report. I'm at my post.
Right.
It's entirely about duty.
Mm.
He wants the master to rest easy wherever he is, knowing that the meeting spot is eternally covered.
And then comes the final promise. The text ends with this specific phrase that he is holding on to. Until the day I finally say, welcome home.
Okari, welcome home. It is quite possibly the most domestic, comforting phrase in the Japanese language.
It signifies the closing of the circle, the return to safety.
But he hasn't said it yet.
No, he is holding it in reserve.
It's kinetic energy just waiting to be released. And the text strongly implies he will hold on to that phrase for 1,000 years if that's what it takes.
It really changes how you look at the statue, doesn't it? I know next time I see a picture of that bronze dog in Shibuya, I'm not just going to see a metal landmark.
No.
I'm going to think about that trembling heart inside of it.
And you'll think about the white breath, the biological sensory reality that started this whole thing.
It completely transforms the story from a tragedy into, well, what is it? Do you still think it's a tragedy?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think the text successfully reframes it as a triumph.
A triumph.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the ultimate goal was to keep a promise, then Hachiko won. He kept it. He's still keeping it. He defeated time.
That's a powerful way to look at it.
The whole world rushed past, faces faded away, the entire city changed around him, but he remained. He is the victor in this story.
A triumph of pure stubbornness or loyalty.
A triumph of a love that simply stays.
You know, we live in a world that is completely obsessed with moving on. People are always saying, get over it, move on, what's next?
Constantly.
This text feels like a rebellious act against all of that. It says, no, I am staying.
And there is immense quiet dignity in that refusal to move.
There really is. So here's the thought I want to leave you with today as we wrap up. We've been deep diving into this profound idea of eternal waiting. The text suggests that Hachiko's love is still going on entirely, regardless of whether the master ever actually shows up.
It suggests that the sentiment welcome home can last forever, even if absolutely no one ever walks through the door.
It raises a very difficult question about the core nature of devotion.
It does.
If love can exist entirely in the solitary act of waiting, without ever receiving an answer, does the object of that love, the master, the partner, the friend, do they actually need to be present for the love to be real? Or is the mere act of loving enough to sustain a soul or even a statue forever?
That is a beautiful, if slightly haunting, thought to end on.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time. And until then, don't forget to look for the stillness in the rushing world.